Hello, and welcome back to 10 Very Big Books, a Malazan Read-Through podcast. My name is Peter Bond. I've read every book of the main series, and with me today, reading the series for the first time, my friend and closest confidant, Joshua Dean Baker.
What? What?
Churchy there, a little swerve.
God, I feel so alive right now.
What is this, April Fool's Day? What's going on?
Our producer, AJ Fileri.
Hello, I'm flabbergasted.
How are the levels? How are the bars?
They're looking great.
And last but not least, my big fat baby, India Jones.
Good morning.
No!
I'm so confused.
No, that was me and India's little intro we cooked up while you guys were getting ready.
Holy shit.
Incredible.
Wow.
Incredible.
I'm glad you liked it, guys.
Hello. Glad to be back.
Glad to be back. Here we are, about cruising our way halfway through the book.
Cruising our way downtown.
Reading a book. That's
Right.
dangerous while you're driving.
Malazan.
That's really good, AJ.
Thanks. Speaking of driving and reading, I read this week's chapters while playing Forza Horizon 5 on my Xbox Series S.
I've heard that's a real fucking good
It's
game.
a real good game. I never played any of the Forza games, and you might just think, hey, that's just driving nice cars around. And you know what? It is, and it's fun.
Nice.
I'm back hosting the show, and it's also post-daylight savings time. Which means it's incredibly late for me, or it's very late because I'm an old woman and cannot stay up past my bedtime.
I get that.
Yeah.
What's your typical bedtime? What's your 9 to 5 grind bedtime?
I like to be in bed at 9.
7:15.
Wow. I'm in bed at 10 and I'm up at 5:40 every day.
See, I'm up at 6 every day, so I like to be in bed by at 9. So it doesn't always happen. Sometimes, I'm up being bad. And by that, I mean watching YouTube videos. So
Making podcasts.
Not to flex on you guys or anything, but I work from home and I take multiple naps throughout the day.
Amazing.
Yeah. I hate you.
I work from home and don't take naps throughout the day. I stay up too late and then wake up early, and then I'm tired all day, and then I do that every single day.
Well, but you also make a lot of coffee.
I don't make a lot of coffee, but
If I
do
were
make
you, I'd
coffee,
make
yes.
a lot of coffee. You're good at it.
Thank you.
All
You
right,
can now see how good I am on Twitch. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to plug
nice
this
plug.
stream.
Get the plug in, baby. Plug the stream. All right, we can do it later. All right, let's get the show going. Today, we're reading Reaper's Gale, chapters 13 and 14. So let's get into it. This part of the book, the second half, we're kind of going at this kind of more slower pace, so hopefully it gives us some time to get into the nooks and crannies. So let's start. Chapter 13. In the tavern, Throat Slitter, Dead Smell, and Balm watch Shirk Alel and talk about women and living. Sheikh Brolig is guarded by 2 Malazans and Masan Galani. He reflects on how he is taking control of the island and how these foreigners have invaded his land. Shirk and Skorgan arrive. They say a massive war galley has come to the isle. The Malazan say their wait is over. Fist Blistig reflects on the Bone Hunters, their lostness after Malaz City, Ban Ashar's purse fueling the army, and Tavor giving a speech about the army's future and what has brought them here. What awaits you in the dusk of the old world's passing shall go unwitnessed. She declares they will be their own witnesses. After arriving on Lether, Tavor had the ship burned. They cannot go back. Lastara, now Tavor's hand, enters the harbor on the Frothbuff. She is happy to be in command and to have supplanted Blistig in control. She and Tavor disembark. Fiddler and his squad are hidden under Makra. They watch Lethari pass by. Fiddler reflects on their invasion tactics. Nearby, Hellion divides up salvaged rum. Keneb reflects on the now reshaped army the new role of mages, the Mekros blacksmith, and why Tavor has brought them here. Feridan Sort interrupts, saying she wants to take Beak as her squad mage. Kenneb then lays out the Malazan plan to fight the Eater and support the Lothari and create civil war. The mage Beak thinks on his childhood, getting beaten and learning magic from a witch. His magic stands as the lone candle in the darkness. Feridan Sort asks about his family, and Beak says they died when he showed them his candle. Beak identifies rubble as having ancient bodies in them. Forkril Assail and Tisti Leosian. They died in the Just Wars. On the north of the island, Cord watches the icebergs melt. Shard doesn't know his sister Sin anymore. She's changed since Yucatan. She's weaving the ice elsewhere. Withel thinks about the wayward Parish Legion off the coast. Only Tavor knows where they are. He also thinks on gods and mortals. Namander watches Fade glare at Sandalith. He wonders if she is capable of murder. They prepare to follow Sandalith. I just remembered I have a big day at work tomorrow, too. Fuck me.
Ooh,
Well,
you
in
hate to see
fairness, 2 chapters is a lot faster than 3 chapters. So I think this would only take us like an hour.
Yeah, I feel like I'm ready to knock this out right now.
Let's fucking crush it, baby.
I would say 1 hour is optimistic, but
Well, yeah, I agree. 1 hour is not going to happen. But
I beg to differ,
Yeah,
and I will
challenge
actually put my
accepted.
money where my mouth is, and I'm betting you 50 cents each.
Anyway, let's get it started. It hot.
Let's get it started. Here, I'll get the bass line. Boop, 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 boop,
nice.
boop, boop.
it's a great way to get us done in an hour, Josh.
You guys are
Look,
funny as fuck.
if you're not getting hype as shit from the fucking Black Eyed Peas, I don't know what's wrong with your life.
Anyway,
So once again, at the start of this chapter, confirmed Shirkalal still a looker, even after death. But we come to the Isle, and it's like we're really here. And although it's kind of revealed at the end of the last book, this is like the Malazans are here, full announcement, and like we catch up with a ton of people. So India, as we really get acquainted with all these Malazans here, how did you feel coming back to them? And was there a certain character that jumped out to you, or you were excited to see?
No, I was confused. I was like, what's happening here? And why, how, and when? To be honest, I spent the whole beginning of this book trying to understand where I was and what was going on. The whole beginning of these chapters.
I can kind of get that. I mean, it's such a huge scene shift from like the last time we saw everybody there. Josh, did you feel...
And I was just like, how?
Josh, yeah,
You know?
did you feel a similar confusion?
No, I was so fucking horny for this one, y'all. I missed my Malazans. You know me. Anytime they're like, all right, here's 4 more soldiers, and I'm just gonna sprinkle in like a detail each. As soon as Dead Smell was like, I smell that she's dead. I was like, I get you.
we've
All
met
right,
Dead
you-
Smell before.
We have.
Look, if you say so. Throat Slitter felt more. I know we've met Balm.
We've met all of these soldiers before.
Yeah, but like we've never been in their POVs.
That's true. And I mean, AJ,
Yeah.
you do say we've met them, but could you tell me some things about their characters? Or
I
Dead
only
smell
knew.
can smell dead people.
Yeah, I only knew that Dead Smell was a necromancer because they did something in the last book, and I don't remember what it is, but I remembered that bit.
yeah, I mean, that's all to say. I'm not trying to roast you. My
know.
memory, I know, gets kind of blurry with remembering some of the distinctions between some of the Malazan Marines.
Yeah,
and such.
Can I just say something quickly, too?
Sure.
So, Shirkalal,
Yes.
obviously quite the looker. Everyone mentions it. However, nobody mentions the really strange, large jewel jutting out of her forehead. And I'm like, if I saw that on the most attractive of people, I'd be like, but
You would at least ask.
Why?
You would at least ask.
why you got a stone in your forehead?
Yeah.
Do y'all think it's more suspicious that she smells so good, considering everyone else in this universe canonically must smell like dog shit?
That is true.
That's a good point.
That's
That is,
the one that smells good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe other fancy people have perfumes and such. You know, maybe
She's not amongst
But she's a pirate,
fancy
PB.
people. Yeah,
It is true. It's true.
Yeah, she's with riffraff nonstop.
the riffraff.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why she has Pretty at her side, because Pretty is so much more to look at than her jewel. You know.
Smart.
I don't know anything about Pretty.
He's missing like 6 different things off his body.
Yeah.
And
That's the one with no nose? No nose.
No nose,
He's
no
ugly
eye.
as sin.
Right, but they call him Pretty because they're pirates, and it's funny.
Well, that's dating tip number 1. You always gotta have an ugly wingman. So you really just boost up your own image. So let's get into it. And before we get into some of the Malazan stuff, let's talk, AJ, about the current Sheikh, Brolig, who we get into their point of view. And I kind of love this section. I wonder what you made of it.
I completely agree. I loved this section. You know that I love a shaking up of the POVs, and even if we never
shaking up.
Oh yeah, okay, fair enough. That was unintentional.
You had to have meant it. Anyway, keep going.
Shake. That was a good one. That was a good one, even if it wasn't intentional.
Look, I'll take credit for it. Thank you.
Shake.
No, I mean, you know how much I love. Oh my god. You know how much I love. You know how much I love a different POV. And this one was great. I mean, it was just, you know, we've heard Brillig's name a couple of times now.
Sure.
And then to get that POV, it was kind of Charisnan POV adjacent, where like we've heard a bit about them and we've kind of like, you know, learned about them not through their POV, and then to get that POV is like, here's what's happening. I don't know. I mean, it just kind of seems like a dude. I thought it was really funny when he was like, okay, well, just one more week and I'll be king, just as long as none of those Sheikh daughters show up.
As
It's
long
like,
as
well,
no other
I have
heirs show up.
bad news for you, bud.
Yeah.
So funny.
But no, I mean, I think it's interesting how he's being held captive by the 14th, or I guess they're the Bone Hunters now.
I found that comment to be very knowing in a way, and I do think is kind of meta. But more importantly, I think the reason I loved this section is because an important theme that I think is highlighted throughout several parts of this chapter is that the Malazans are literally invading a place, are foreigners, and are like colonizing ? You know,
Absolutely.
it's like obviously something there that the book's prodding at, and I think it's important early on to have this point of view of this guy who's like, okay, well, who are all these people that have invaded and are holding me hostage, and are like to have that point of view early on in the chapter before we go into returning to all of our, you know, Malazan friends, you know?
Yeah, right. I mean, we've never seen, or we have seen from I guess the colonizer POV of colonizing someone, but we've never seen like the closest we got, I guess, was Midnight Tides when we were watching the Eater and the Letheri, but then we, you know, then the book ended, and then we fast forwarded, you know, a year or whatever.
Yeah.
An indeterminate amount of time.
Right. Yeah, some amount of time.
And I mean, I think when you talk about the rebellion in 7 cities, of course, that is like colonized people rebelling against their colonizers. But, you know, that is not the colonizing, like, war, in a so to speak. It's like years after Kellanved conquered it, so.
Right, yeah, we are seeing the early steps.
Yeah, the thing is, I think it's deftly weaving throughout this chapter that it's like this skepticism. And I think even Blistic gets to it, who we can get to soon, who is like, okay, well, they're talking about their plan to, like, start, like, support the Letherian Civil War or something. And they're like, oh, well, we wouldn't do this in Malaz, but here we are fucking doing it in Lether, you know? So.
All right, guys, wait. Before you keep going, very, very important intellectual discussion. But we're just going to need to bring it right back.
Okay.
Sure. Who is holding him captive?
The Malazans.
Two soldiers I don't think we know, and Massan Galani, who we have met.
Massan Galani.
Yeah.
Who is canonically fucking smoking.
She is a smoke show. It is canonical.
Also, and she was the one that fought the wolf in the last book. She was almost killed, but she didn't die.
That was Smiles.
No, that was Massan
Josh,
Galani.
that was Massan Galani. She was the...
Massan Galani was with the Bone Hunters?
Yes.
Like was with the ones underneath of the city?
No, wasn't with them under the city.
What wolf are you talking about?
Yeah,
AJ?
I agree. I'm now
the only one I can think of is when they're trying to get back from Yagatan and they send the one way forward. But
That's
that
who
is
it
Smiles.
is. That's who it is.
That's Smiles.
No, they don't send Smiles.
It's
It's
not.
definitely Masanghalani. And
It's Masanghalani because it's a unique POV. It's the only time that we get her POV, and it's really
What?
good. And she's sick, and and I think it's Steve doing a bluff that's like, oh, here's a character that's totally gonna die, so we're gonna just throw, here's Masan, whatever, and then she kicks ass, and then they
And-
find her, and she's
I
like,
totally forgot she was with him the whole time. You're right. Yeah.
What's the name of that the monster? I can't.
I'm trying
I totally
so hard.
forget it.
I got it. It's the Dejumna Brawl.
The
There we
Dejumna Brawl.
go.
That's what
I'm looking at
the.
I'm being very careful looking at the wiki because I was like, is that really her? You're right though. That's sick.
Thank
And
you.
She's great.
yeah, she rules.
Yeah, and really, they're kind of just watching over him. It's not terribly important who they are. It's just
Well, why then does Shirk have to stay there too?
Because Shirk knows too much.
Well, this has only been like an hour, India.
yeah.
Well,
Shirk,
yes, I know, but why? Like, what do they want? Why? What are they doing with them?
they're taking over the island as a base of operations for their invasion of this continent.
And Shirk shows up and is like, hey, I know what you're doing, and they were like, okay, well, you can't leave this room.
Well, really, she showed up because she was trying to kill Sheikh Brolyug. Or
I thought
do
that she was
something with
giving him a barrel.
No, she
Right,
was.
that
Well,
was
yeah,
a
they were
cover.
bringing. It was a cover.
How the
You
fuck
know?
am I supposed to know that?
Josh,
They said it in the
They said
beginning.
it 3 chapters ago.
Josh, they're
No,
actually,
they said it in the beginning of this chapter. Or she was like, oh, I switched out with the person who's supposed to deliver the ale, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna
but
do it.
they
I
said
missed
that
that.
plan was like formed a couple chapters ago, and this one I'm positive.
Well,
of
I
that,
did know
AJ.
that she was trying to kill him in it.
She said, I'm gonna make a plan, and then we didn't see what the plan was, and then this chapter was like, here's the plan.
all right. Let's get into this. So let's get into the Malazan part of it, if that's all right. So, Josh, we first check in with Fist Blistic, who has had some responsibility kind of stripped from him, and he kind of he's kind of doing a flashback like sequence to catch us up on a lot of the stuff that has brought the Bone Hunters here. How they were feeling, what their army did in the aftermath of Malaz City, what Tavor did, and how they got here and burned all the ships. So how did you feel about catching up, and what do you think? Did you follow them on this like track that brought them here, or do you not quite get it?
I think it made sense to me. I'm very appreciative of the fact that we got to see this in fast forward. You know what I mean? I'm glad we did not read about these struggles because it was like, okay, yeah, this is good, but it's not good reading. So
Sure.
to like live through that. But I think it was effective. I followed everything that went. The witness stuff was a little weird. We're real big on witnessing in this fucking series, huh?
I don't think it's a coincidence that he uses the word witness here.
It's
Yeah.
definitely not a coincidence. So, but yeah, I mean, I will say many of the things made sense. The one thing that did not make 100% sense to me was, and this comes up at the end of the next chapter, is they really had very little concrete info to go off of about these Eater other than they attacked an island.
Well, they did mention that they like intercepted a ship and like got a bunch of info from that.
Yeah, they tortured some people and got some info, but like...
Which is a rather blasé way to throw off that kind of pretty dark story.
Yeah, I just really feel like if I was going to travel for multiple years on a boat, I would really want to have an idea of what the fuck... Because also, like, that's some time, you know? Like, by the time... For all they knew, they could have gotten here and Letheri could have overthrown the Eater in that time.
I don't think it's confirmed it's years, let the record show.
They say year
They
at the end. They say like a year has passed or something.
Okay, maybe it was just a year. Well...
Obviously, the ice is around, you know.
Yeah.
But most of it made sense. Feel bad for Divorce. She's definitely still sad girling it up. But, like, that makes sense completely.
Yeah.
I can't wait for her to open up to Lestara. They're just gonna be a dream team.
Yeah.
India, what did you make of Tavor's speech and this decision to bring the Bone Hunters to Lether?
Her speech made no sense. I didn't understand it. I don't know if I was supposed to. I don't get it, but
We have to be our own witness, India, okay?
yeah, but what does that even mean? And also why?
It has to be enough.
and also,
you know?
and like I kind of agree with everyone else. That's like, but we're not really Malazan anymore. So like, who are we fighting for, and what are we doing? So that's kind of my thing too. But I like Tavor, and I think that Lestara and her are gonna be a power couple. I also like not power couple, but like a couple that's in power, but not like a couple.
We get
Unless
it.
they are, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. But
I agree with that take, India.
yeah. So That's it.
Well, let me ask you about that. We do hear officially that Lestara has now kind of been promoted in a sense. Are you like stoked to learn more about this, or what do you think?
I am stoked because like in that bit where we heard that she's like taking on this new role, she did a lot of good shit for them. She did a lot of like
100%,
moves.
100%.
So it's like she's really good at her job apparently.
Now let me ask you this, Inge. You do know though. I mean, Lestara's got that secret under her belt. You know, she's got that in the back pocket.
Which secret?
That Tavor killed her sister.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot that she knows that. You're right.
That's okay.
Okay.
She's not gonna tell.
No one's perfect. All right.
Listen,
As Josh once said, everybody gets one sibling whoopsie. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say the last time that I said that Lestara should just tell her, you guys were like, oh my god, that would destroy Tavor. Oh my god. So,
idiot, that's not how I felt. I feel like anyway, that's
I said tell her.
Yeah, I think I was the only one that
Yeah.
says that it would destroy her, and it's a bad move if you're trying to not, if you're trying to have a leader. It's a bad move to tell the leader that they killed their sister.
But what was that? So you know that part of the story when she's like, when they were like, it was late and they were just screaming in Tavor's room?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Because then they like insinuated that it was about the people that war where then he just cut off their fingers and sent them home. But no, right? That wasn't what that was about, right? We don't know what that conversation was about, right?
It was no, we do. I can't remember it because
Then
it was
Then it was just like the story about how they lost and then they sent them all home and they had no.
I love the finger story. I thought that was fun.
that story was crazy.
What the fuck ever, guys.
I thought it was about the money or something more mundane.
Yeah, my understanding was they were
remember.
arguing about various logistics.
Yeah.
That's possible.
All right. So AJ, before we kind of move on to some of the other soldiers, I wonder if you had any thoughts about this kind of the command part of the Bone Hunters.
Oh, I want to talk about this too.
Josh, go ahead.
Ballistic kind of sucks shit, right? Why is he still Fist? Wait, has he done anything right pretty much ever?
That's
Wow.
funny.
You got a little ballistic beef.
I just think I wish he was any competent, you know?
Josh, you want to remind me? I can't remember anything about what Blistig did in the last book.
Yo, I just wanted Pete to remind me who the fuck he is. It's him and Keneb are like the dream team of idiots. So,
Yeah.
Wow.
and then I know who Keneb is. I feel like
Keneb's-
Ballistic just doesn't do anything right and never gives good orders. Which one's the one that did the good stuff on the boat and like lied really good? Wasn't that Keneb?
That was Keneb.
That was kind of.
And Ballistic was just kind of sitting there like twiddling his thumbs or whatever. I just feel like he's never stood out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you that if you say a fist that doesn't know what they're doing, like, yeah, sure, absolutely. I'm fine
And
with
now
you, but I couldn't tell you what he did.
Ballistic, okay, so Keneb was the guy that met Kalam in book 2.
Yes.
And that's Keneb, and he has grub.
Yeah.
Or does Ballistic have grub?
No, Keneb is
Keneb
Keneb
has grub.
is Keneb's.
So then,
yeah.
and Ballistic was the commander of the Aaron Guard.
Yes.
He's the one who didn't. I just like looked up a quick. Okay, so he's the one who like didn't send some of the people out in book 2.
He wanted to send them out, but Pormqual was the one who was like, "No, we're not doing it," and he was like,
Sorry, no,
"Oh."
I meant after that. He's one of the ones that
okay.
didn't go. He didn't go. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So he didn't do much. Okay. And then he got Fist.
I do think he's less defined than someone like Keneb,
Mhm.
but
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but we've definitely heard his name, throughout these
Oh,
books.
yeah,
just
he's-
saying.
I do
he's-
think it's the right choice to demote him to Fist instead of High Fist. That feels right.
So, AJ, any other thoughts on this command, the decision to come here?
I mean, I'm not going to say it's like a bad decision because it was either like find somewhere to go or get murdered. Like, I'm not saying I'm fully in support of them colonizing a whole new continent, but
like, what even are we? Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Are we Malazan now, or
No, buddy, we're bone hunters, but we're not here in a festive spirit.
yeah?
Which I thought was a wild way to end that fucking that fucking section.
I thought that was such a great line, though.
Very funny.
Cool. And then let's take this down to the ground floor. We hit Fiddler. What's that? They're already fucking inland, baby.
I want to talk about this.
They're fucking invading.
I want to talk about this.
They're invading, and then furthermore, Hellions nearby. She's invading, and we get some great Hellion scenes in the next chapter. AJ, how'd you feel about being on the ground floor?
I want to go.
All right, okay. I'm just trying to get AJ a little time on mic, but Josh,
No, you're good. You're good.
No, Josh, get in there. The soldiers.
Josh, go ahead.
The soldiers
I
are
cede
already.
my time.
We're already invading.
We've done Operation Marketplace. That is what is happening, and it's so cool. And like, this is the wildest plan. We are in book 7 of this series, and he is still coming up with crazy shit for this army to do, and I'm absolutely flabbergasted by it. Like, and it makes so much sense based off their intel of like the Letheri as this oppressed, population, held down by a powerful but smaller ruling class of Eater, and it makes so much sense their plan. And you're reading it, and you're like, no, you missed it so bad, and I was losing my mind about it. It was so good,
and it's so good at the end of I think it's the end of the next chapter.
It's the next chapter, when they realize it. I wanted to puke like the moment I like fully understood what they were doing and like how bad of a plan it is. I wanted to puke. I felt so like uncomfortable with the situation they are about to find themselves in.
Yeah, it's kind of great, right? Because it's like, obviously our heroes, and they're in a situation, they're like the micro situation you're in. You're like, okay, they're good. They're not really in that much trouble, But it's like the big situation. You're like, oh my gosh, friends.
Yeah.
You've really, what have we done here? What are we?
It's so good.
Yeah.
So we were just talking a bit about Keneb, AJ.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you feel? Do you have had any feelings catching about Keneb, or do you want to?
Are we gonna skip the Hellion thing?
Well, do you want to talk about Hellion?
I just thought it was nice to have Hellion back, and I love that our introduction to her in this book is any more complaining from you, and I'll cut off my left tit. Is immediate. That's the beginning
and
of the
everyone
section.
in the group's like, no, don't do it.
Not the left tit. Well, the thing is, really, I was just waiting since Hellion has like an all-time great sequence in the next chapter, so I wanted to talk about it more in detail then. I have to tell you, I've always loved Captain Keneb, one of my favorite characters. I just feel like seems like a rock solid dude. What do you think? Aj, any feeling on him? He's also thinking Withel. He's thinking about Withel a bit. That comes up later.
Yeah, I just I thought this was such an interesting view. I mean, similar to how we kind of get the we get a rundown of like how the Eater and Lether stuff works. I don't remember through whose eyes, but we like see, we see the pieces of this stuff. But with Keneb, he's just talking about how they are using sorcery now and how all the squad mages know Makra.
Yeah. We get like a full breakdown of how it works.
Yeah, I loved that. Extremely, extremely good. Extremely interesting. And Josh, I think that might lend to your question of like why, how can you interrogate a couple of Eater and like think their plans? Because they're using Makra. So they're like, okay, mind magic. We know like we're not just getting what they're telling us. We're like, reaching into their mind and doing whatever.
I can see that.
But I thought that stuff was so fucking cool.
Yeah, I love that whole like we're changing this entire army and how it works just for this invasion.
Right. It's no longer they are no longer Malazans, right? They're just like they are, but because they're still colonizing. But that's like a totally different squad composition.
Are they colonizing? Who knows? Are they conquering? I don't know. What's the difference?
They're liberating.
They're liberating. All
right.
That's a good. And do you know what, Josh? It's a just war. You could call.
Yeah.
Can you? So he thinks about Withel, and he thinks about Drift of Volley for a little bit, and that kind of lost me a little bit.
What do you mean?
Keneb thought about Drift of Volley? I forget even what Drift of Volley is.
Drift of Volley is the moving island where they found
that Withel's from.
Crocus and Apsalar go. Withel's not from there. The other kids of Animander Rake they find.
Oh, sorry, we're talking Namander. We moved to Namander. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. Oh, maybe I'm just.
I think you're switching it around.
Yeah, you're mixing up. Namander talks about
he does.
That shit.
He does. He briefly he talks about how he met Mekros, or how he met Withel. And then he mentions the Drift. Just anytime Drift of Volley comes up, I get so confused just because I can't ever conceptualize in the moment what Drift of Volley is.
I just love the idea so much. I'm just like, cool.
I just know it's a thing that drifts in the ocean. That is exactly that's how far I think about it.
All right. So, India.
That's my name.
That's your name. My big fat baby. So, Faraday Sort walks in to Kennedy's like, I want Beak as my fucking squad mage. And then the next scene, we catch up and we learn all about this mage Beak and his unfortunate childhood, about how he conceives of magic, and then he and Ferdinand Sort kind of go to some ruins together. What did you think about this introduction to the character Beak?
I love Beak. Classic.
Yes.
Classic weird character that's like, I don't know my own strength, but I'm really, really strong.
Yeah.
So I liked that. I don't know. Nothing more to it. I wonder what that thing does that killed everyone in his family.
Fucking Warren.
When I read this, I thought of that meme from Brooklyn Nine-Nine of, I've only known Beak for 6 pages, but if anything happened to him, I would kill all of you and myself. That is how I feel about him.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know the meme you're talking about, but
It's Rosa Diaz from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She got a little doggy.
He meets a puppy, yeah.
oh, I see. I gotta say, just a quick shout out. I made a joke earlier. I really loved the little obvious jab at the idea of a just war here. I thought it was pretty funny.
It was good, Pete.
I just wanted to read the quote. They fought on the ruins during what they call the Just Wars. Here, it was only a skirmish, but nobody survived. They killed each other, and the last warrior standing had a hole in her throat, and she bled out right where the fist is standing. She was Forquil Assail, and her last thought was about how victory proved they were right and the enemy was wrong. Then she died.
So good.
Fucking bonkers.
And you can't say the Forquil Assail didn't come out on top there. She certainly won a point. And I did want to shout out this quote from Kenneb earlier. I somewhat referenced it during this part of the skepticism of the Malazans throughout this chapter. None of us are sure of this, are we? Find the Tisti Eater, this land's oppressor, and hunt them down. Free the Lethari to repel. Foment a civil war, the very thing we fled the Malazan Empire to avoid. Odd, isn't it? How we now deliver upon another nation what we would not have done to ourselves. About as much moral high ground as this damn swamped. No, we're not happy, Adjunct. Not happy at all.
Yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried for Tavor.
You're worried?
She made a big old choice, and we don't know if it's the right one.
Right, and even if it is the right one, do her people think it's the right one? You know, like, because if they don't think it's right, then what, are they just going to murder her and replace her? Like, what's the end goal there? You know, I don't know.
Sure.
Scary.
Yeah.
Scary.
Maybe not everyone's on board with the vision.
I mean, yeah.
Last few things in this chapter, Josh, we get a mention of the mage Sin, who has been a fairly minor character but keeps coming up. Do you have any impressions about Sin? Because she's changed. Her own brother doesn't recognize her anymore. Half brother, I think.
Well, it's tough. We haven't actually seen her in this book yet. I mean, she's changed in the last book when she does the crazy shit with the fire at Yagatan, and then, like, you know, is with Ferdinand Sword. So, I mean, clearly something's going on with her. For all we know, she's possessed or like becoming a god or whatever happens in Malazan these days. So
whatever the kids are up to.
I'm very interested to see what she's doing, because like when they were like, well, no, she's not melting the ice, she's like getting rid of it. I was like, that seems like a dumb distinction, but I'm sure it's vitally important later in this book.
Knowing Steve.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see where she goes and to like see her again, but I mean, you don't get that magical without some side effects, it seems like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Why is she mute?
She went, I don't know, she's nuts. She's the one that tried to poison Malazan.
Yeah, she tried to poison all those people a while back.
Yeah, that's when she was fun and silly. Now she's like not.
Yeah,
because she's got all this magic going through her blood. You know.
Yeah,
magic fucks you up.
Maybe a good old-fashioned bloodletting to let some of the blood magic out, and she'll be fine again. Get those 4 humors in balance, guys.
I hear that.
All right, last few things. AJ, it's mentioned the parish are still around.
Yeah,
they're not far off.
Nope.
Do you know where they are?
Do I know where they are? No. They're mentioned in Blistig's whole thing. They talk about the parish for a second, but
it's fine. So, and then the last thing I want to touch on is we touch it with Namander, and I was curious if any of you have any impressions, thoughts, or connections to these characters.
Yeah, not yet.
I put 2 thumbs down and made that noise for the record. No.
I have no fucking idea. Is Namander Anamander Rake's brother?
Son.
No, that was Anderist. Was
Son?
the brother.
Yeah, we learned that in the last book.
Son?
He was in the bar.
Who's his mom?
Oh God. I don't remember if they talked about it.
Mother Dark.
Oh, is it? Wait, no. Is the mom Lady Envy or something?
I think that's,
is that right?
I believe Lady Envy.
They're ex-lovers.
They're ex-lovers. Off the dome, I'm not 100% sure who Namander's mom is.
You might be right, but no, I have no connection to them. But the fact that they got a POV at the end is like a clue that they're gonna. I mean, I guess I need to form a connection with them because they're gonna be important.
I'm sure that I will have opinions about them by the end of the book, but right now, no.
Confirmed unnamed mother.
Okay, but just to clarify, Animander Rake was the one having the relationship with Lady Envy.
They have been known to canoodle.
Okay, and so she's out for revenge on him. Okay, got it.
With that said, let's wrap up chapter 13.
Wait, sorry. No, she got revenge on him by sleeping with Namander, right? Was that what it was?
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. She banged her kid. That's what it is.
That's what it was. Yeah. She said, "Fuck you, Animander Rake. I'm gonna fuck
the
your son."
the old fuck you, my bang your kid game.
Power moves only.
that old shtick.
That classic thing.
So with that, we want to take a moment and thank everyone who supports us on Patreon. We just had some fun stuff up there. We put a Star Trek episode up there. Let's thank
the people. I will just do it. I'm gonna do it.
AJ's gonna do it. They don't fucking give a damn.
Thank you so very much to Master Grunt, Dylan, the Empress Elasine, and Catriona. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you.
We appreciate it, as always. Let's keep going.
Chapter 14. Hedge and the Talani Mass Emerith walk together over ice and jagged ruins. They talk about death and bodies of jaggeds. The spirit left the body. The throne of ice is dying. Hedge wants to figure out who left. Onrack relishes in his new life, traveling with Troll. They are hunted by Ai and track down a cat-like creature, an Mlava. They kill it and hear its offspring. Wither asks Udanis about what he knows and what he does. They discuss the ruins of the Short Tail city. Something from the sky crashed into it. Clip asks why Silchus Ruin knows so much of his enemy, saying that he allied with the Short Tails. Ruin denies it. Saren wanders on their path north, when a voice calling itself Makra speaks of Krull's creation of the Warrens. Later, she speaks with Udanis. Twilight draws closer to her homeland with Yed and Derek. He asks her not to bring the Sheikh to war. At the Road's End Tavern, they speak with witches, and of Sheikh Brolik. Twilight plans to assume her role as queen and rule over her people, even if she has to struggle. Fiddler wonders where everybody is in the countryside. It doesn't feel right. Bottle tells him not to read the deck. Gessler has been gone a bit. Gessler stands in ruins, thinking of his dead companions. Stormy finds him, and they speak of their wars together. Fiddler squads group up and get ready to go. Korab was told to stay close to Bottle. Bottle asks him why he didn't go with Leoman. Eater soldiers, led by Trantalo Kendar, ride to a small keep. They are ambushed and killed by Malazan soldiers. Hellion squad did the killing. They take her horses, and they will head further into the Empire, tavern by tavern. Faradan Sort helps Beak use his magic to steal horses. Beak thinks he's falling in love with her. Throat Slitter reflects on the power of assassins. Kellanved conquered Li Hang with the Talani Mass, but still died to a dagger in the back. Throat Slitter thinks on his old masters being killed, and the Claw. He thinks Blistig is exhausted spiritually, and that Tavor should be rid of him. In Brolik's chamber, Shirk asks Tavor why she is invading Lether. Tavor is surprised then to hear that the Lethari will not welcome them as liberators. She has sent soldiers into an empire of 2 enemies, not 1. All right, so Josh, what's going on with fucking Hedge? What's he doing?
I don't know.
Just hanging out with Emirath, everyone's best friend.
What confuses me with Hedge is he a ghost or is he not a ghost? Like, can all ghosts just be corporeal and just fucking hang? Like, where are they? Did he escape Hood's realm? Oh, he did escape Hood's realm. That's right. After that thing by the lake, he used that time to vanish. Oh, okay. I just put 2 and 2 together. So, okay, that makes sense why he's kind of sort of cheating death and has a body and stuff a little bit. Okay.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat what
one more
happens
time?
there?
That was the time when Perrin and the Trigall Trade Guild would crossed that bridge, and then they ended up at the big lake. And Hedge was with them, and then they found the place from book 4, I think, where Troll and Onrack had like done that big
The Daragoth spot.
Yeah, the Daragoth, and then the big dogs were there. And then there was that big bear that chased them, and that's how Hedge escaped then. And was like, now they think I'm gone, and he just escaped from Hood's realm or something. That was a lot of talking.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know if that means he escaped Hood's realm.
Well, AJ, he ain't in his own warren anymore.
Well, he was summoned by Perrin.
Yeah,
then...
but had to go back. But because he
So Josh, where is he?
right now, well, he's in the Jagged warren, Amtos Falak.
Amtos
I
Falak.
think.
Yeah. No, he's definitely an Amtos Falak. We just
You
saw the
think?
throne. I mean, it's possible that Amtos Falak is a dead warren or some bullshit, and so secretly still within Hood's realm or some dumb fucking thing. Which,
No, well, he says that when we see him the first time that something like fell through Hood's realm, and so he's like somewhere outside of that or something.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not in the part of Hood's realm where most folks are. So I think he's approaching, probably trying to escape or something crazy. Who knows?
Yeah. But also the Daragoth stuff isn't in Hood's realm, is it?
It's a part of Hood's realm. It's the old part underneath of layers, because there's layers to Hood's realm, and then there's like the part below it that came before Hood or something.
Hood.
Got it. Jesus.
I don't remember, man. That was 3 books ago. I was a younger man.
I didn't know that until right now, so thanks.
I'm not. I want to go the record. I would only endorse some of what Josh said, but
Look, I think that's how I live. Most people should view what I say.
but I feel comfortable leaving it in a place of somewhatness.
I know I got some stuff wrong, and I don't care what those parts were.
Hey, I appreciate this, but can we move on to Onrack being a fucking sick hunter?
Yeah,
so
let's talk about Onrack.
Dude's fucking ripping it
India,
up.
you texted us about Onrack, and how'd you feel about catching up with him now that he's a skin boy? He's wearing skin
Hot or
like
not?
all of us.
I don't like Skin Boy.
Very excited about him being a skin boy. However, I believe he probably resembles a monkey. And I don't know. Yeah, he is good at hunting and everything. He's good at everything, which is like, my thing is, what did coming back to life in this? Is he like, they're in a warren right now, correct?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What is it called again?
They're into the Talon Warren.
That's what it is. So he's alive now. My question is, if he were to leave the warren, would he still be alive? Then my other question is, what is the big deal that he is like? I'm getting a little bit sick of Troll like crying every time he fucking smiles, literally. And he's really great. He likes to hunt and he's good at it. I didn't take anything away.
Hey India, look at me right now. Imagine if Bella could suddenly talk and have sentience.
It's different.
And just like looked at you and said, is this what it's like to insert anything, any feeling, any thought, anything at all?
To feel an emotion.
To feel an emotion. Yeah.
Shit.
It's different. Me and Bella's relationship is like no other. So I understand I understand where you're coming from there, but like watch it, Josh.
I'm so sorry.
No, but yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, I don't know. Am I supposed to like care deeply about this? I don't really know what it means or what is going to come from it. So I mean, it's cool, I guess. Yeah. That's it.
India noted Onrack troll hater.
Yeah.
I'm not
that is
a
true.
hater.
I mean, you're at least a little bit of a hater.
Yeah,
I'm just like not a lover.
It's okay.
Interesting.
I do like Troll and Onrack. I mean, it's cute, but like, okay, like what's next?
Yeah.
And also, where are they going? Anyone?
Uh-huh.
They're with Quickbent,
Who are they
right?
with again? Oh yeah,
They're with
no.
Quickbent.
They're supposed to. Well, they're supposed to follow that lake.
Right,
but
and then there was a
they-
catfish coming, and they said, "Okay, fuck that," and then they
But it
teleported ahead
seems
a whole
like they.
bunch.
But it seems like this was where they were supposed to go. Like I don't know, man. I don't know. Does
Remember
anyone
when
know?
they killed the cat for no reason? I do.
What cat did they kill?
Yeah, wait, what?
They killed a big cat.
Oh, the big one. Well, he fucked up. He thought it was that was a female, and he was looking for a male. But India. Just wait till next chapter when what's that? They've adopted 4 of these little kittens, and it's
Yeah,
just
dude.
good friends and some kittens. Can't wait.
Yeah, literally. I'm so pissed. When they heard the little cry, I was like, ah! You killed a mother with babies! Oh, I was
He didn't mean
pissed.
to.
Yeah.
He hasn't
but
hunted.
just
He
a
hasn't hunted in a
mistake.
while.
Just a little Talon mistake.
I mean, in the-
Onrack bullshit.
in the grand scheme of things people have done in this series so far as an
Yeah.
accident, I feel like this one is. I mean, I get it, it's still not good, but
You know what?
Ain't the worst
you guys
thing.
lack cat empathy.
I have
And
2 cats. I love my cats. I don't like
Yeah,
other
I also
cats
love my
mostly.
cats.
How
But
would you
India, here's
feel-
the thing.
if somebody.
So you feel this level of empathy for this cat, but you still think Tavor deserves to be fucking crumbled into dust, knowing that she accidentally stabbed her sister to death.
I'm sorry. Did the cat accidentally stab her sister?
No, I'm just saying. Onrack and Tavor
This-
both did
That
accidents.
argument broke my brain. I'm so lost.
Anyway, it's
Guys,
fine.
whatever. I just wanted to point it out, and I was upset about it. Now, let's we talk about your guys' perspective of Onrack having skin and being a skin boy.
Why did you put it in that voice?
Because you guys are, like, so excited about it.
Is this how we talk?
Yeah.
Um,
You sound just like that.
I sound just like that. All right, so let's cut to AJ. We're with the gang.
Mm-hmm.
We're up in the Shorttail City ruins.
Mm-hmm. They made it. They're there.
Wither is like, I was gonna say teasing. I don't know if that's a word. Prodding Udonis. Everyone here is always
Yes,
prodding each
yeah.
other. And then Clip
Yeah.
starts prodding Silch's Ruin is like, you sure know a lot about these Shorttails, though, don't you? How'd you feel about all this? And how you feeling about Clip? Do you feel like did you enjoy him prodding? Were you like, I don't know, what you think?
No, I mean, Clip's a part of the group now. We're all just here to push each other's fucking buttons, get everybody worked up, maybe do a couple punches, and then somebody tells a joke and we all smile. Like that's
what we
these
do
sections
now.
are. That is what we do now. So Clip thinks that Siltrus Ruin worked with the Kachane Naruk. Is that what is happening here?
That's kind of what he's getting at.
Yeah, which is crazy.
It's kind of weird, but I guess they were around at the same time. And oh man, I don't know. I
Which is confusing because isn't the beginning of Midnight Tides them killing the Kachane Shamal in their realm?
yes, as far as I remember.
So maybe he was back. I don't know. Maybe he did some shady shit and he's
Yeah, it could have been.
trying
It
to
could have
hide
been
it.
right because the Naruk are the short tail, right? The short tails are the smart ones that do the science and make the sky keeps and stuff.
I
And
think
they
so,
they
yeah.
made the hunters on accident, or they made the hunters and then shit broke bad. So maybe it was like oh cool, we both have endeavors in science, so let's do some science, and then oops, the Kachane oops, they're doing bad
Oops, all
science.
Kachane Shamal.
Yeah, oops, I let them into our house. Sorry, I left the door open.
Oops, I made dinosaur swords.
But I don't know. I feel like Clip's being kind of indignant about it. Like Silch's Ruin is I don't know. I think it's Clip. It seems pretty. The attitude that Clip has tracks. Like this is the attitude that we were introduced to. If Clip's like, I know better than everybody else. Hee clink clink. And for him to be like, oh, you must have been working with the Kachane Naruk, which is inherently a bad thing. And Silch's Ruin shut the fuck up. You
Yeah.
don't know what you're talking about. I'm 1,000,000 years old. You're only 400,000. Whatever. However the fuck old Clip is. So I don't know. He's becoming a part of the group, and I don't know how I feel about it because I feel like Clip doesn't have any boundaries, and he's gonna say something, and then he's gonna get chopped. He will be cleft in twain.
You
for one
think
dumbass
he's getting
reason.
cleft in twain?
I do not think Clip makes it through this book.
Oh, I think I got bad news, but I feel like Clip's here for the long haul. He's the
I don't know.
mortal sword of Animander Rake.
Sure.
Mortal swords.
Okay.
Mortal swords have never died before.
They never have died.
Literally never. Name one.
I don't even think we've met that many mortal swords. We've definitely seen a shield anvil die twice.
Well, I mean,
Twice.
Okay.
So, Josh, to quick touch in on Saren, she's speaking to Makra? What's up?
I don't know.
Ugh.
Why are you asking? None of us know. It is intentionally fucking weird and vague.
Since
Next.
when was Makra a person?
Exactly. It
Well-
can't, and it's weird because now, but then, maybe it is Makra because she, shares her pain with Udanos, and she learned some Makra from, what's-his-face, Bangles or whatever.
Corlo.
Corlo.
Corlo, nice pull.
Yeah,
From
good
the
job.
Crimson Guard. Thank you.
But I mean, maybe it's Makra. I don't know. It's confusing.
It's like, what does Makra mean to her? Do you know what I mean?
I will say I liked the moment with her and Udanos. I've been rooting for them to not hate each other's guts because I feel like they have the most in common of any of the people on this trip. So thank goodness they are finally starting to talk.
To have one cool conversation for once.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take it.
No.
I also love how it kept cutting back and forth between this wild conversation she's having in her head, and it's everybody's staring down at her. It's
Yeah.
Hey, are you okay? And she's just thinking in her head so intensely.
Now I would like to hijack the show for 30 seconds, PB, if that's all right.
Please, Dozo.
As we know, I was very hungover last episode and had to leave.
Yes.
What was the general group impression of the shake stuff from that last section? Because your boy,
Josh, let me quick. There's a surefire way to figure that out. And it's to listen to the podcast.
I've never listened to an episode of this podcast, and I never will. And I will go to my grave having never heard anything other than snippets that I am sent.
Yeah. Well, Josh, you're gonna miss out on at least $40 because Pete and I both said if you listen to the episode, that we'll send you $20.
Oh, seriously? Well, that's
but-
there was never a chance I was going to.
I'm just saying score.
That is how sure I was.
I just knew you. I knew you had to listen.
That's incredible.
But Josh, why? What's your shake take?
I want an entire book of shake mythology. I want to know everything about their beliefs. I want to know everything about their ancestral names because I'm now learning that she wasn't called Twilight because she was born at No, every generation there's a Twilight and there's a Watch and there's a Reach every time. And I love that, and I want to know the significance. I want to know the last of all of them. Let me add it, Steve.
All right, AJ, play the shake music.
Shake, shake, shake.
Dum ba da ba.
Shake, 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 shake.
Ba 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 ba. Shake those talons. There we go. Whew.
Nice.
So, yeah, we're fully back in the shake zone now that we're really tuning in Twilight. I have to tell you, I'm a big shake fan, and I'm just excited.
I knew you were. I didn't even get to talk about it. Can I just take 10 seconds?
All right, please.
I was so happy to learn there was a goddamn reason we kept calling her Hatriprita Diantovis, also called Twilight. Because every time Peter has been calling her that every time. Oh, well, the Hatriprita Diantovis called Twilight, and I was always like, why? And I started doing it because I thought it was funny, and I was so happy to know that there's a goddamn reason for it. So
And
What's
that's
the
what
reason?
what?
What's the reason?
Because she's the Shake Princess now, about to be, she's gonna be the queen of the Shakes.
Okay.
And they're all named Twilight.
Yeah, all the princesses to become queen are named Twilight. All the kings are named Reach.
That doesn't seem fair.
So, India, what did you make of learning this little more about Twilight? And then when Yerendereg, shout out, is like, hey, we shouldn't go to war. And she's like,
what do I feel?
yeah, how you feeling? Josh came in hot on the shake stuff.
I have no feelings about the shake stuff, actually. I don't really understand it that much, if I'm being honest. There are so many different groups of people now.
There's
and
a
it's
lot of people.
And also, did she not know that she was a princess?
No, she knew.
She just didn't know her mother had died yet.
Okay. And then whose side is she on?
That's kind of her whole thing here.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't really know who to stick with because she has now found.
She wants to
brother.
carve out her own little spot for the Shake to have their own lands again, as they did before the Lether Empire started taking over everybody in the area.
But she is, in fact, there. She is in the Lether place.
Well, yeah, she's
Yeah.
she's been in their army, her whole adult life.
That's what I was asking.
So
Yeah.
I'm curious. I want her to work with the Malazans.
Yeah. Well, there was I don't know if I want her to work with anybody, but I feel like she's going to be absorbed in the Malazans because they're already with Brilliag and he's he's the other guy. But
his name is not Reach.
I thought it was Reach.
I will say,
I mean, nobody calls him that, but nobody is Shake in that room. So
Yeah.
Then
Brolig
what is Brolig?
Brilliag is just his name.
That's his Lether name, and then they all have like their, important one-word name.
Right.
I don't like this book anymore that much.
Well, it's like India when somebody becomes a U.S. citizen, and the immigration officer's like, "Hey, your name's too hard to say. Let's just call you John."
In this case, they were like, Twilight's too difficult. How about Jan Tovis? You're the Watch? No, we're gonna call you because I can never. Whenever I see that guy's name, I've never learned it, and I never will. That's a very Welsh sounding name, actually. Very Welsh sounding.
you'll learn Yed and Derek, okay? And you're and you're gonna like it, okay?
He's the Watch, and will always be the Watch.
Is that their like Lether name? Because Brilliag and Dariag are like really close in naming convention.
You're probably right. Jan Tovis is super.
Jan Tovis is
yeah. So maybe the other ones are like their actual like from their original language names. That could be true. I didn't think about that.
I don't know. Just a thought. But I was gonna say, because we were asking what side Twilight is on, when we come to see her in the beginning of this section, she's like, "Oh, well, if I'm still with the Lether, then I should like immediately run back and tell them that I've seen these ships and like there are Malazans and like whatever." And then it's kind of her puzzling that out for the rest of the section. So I don't know.
What's she gonna do?
She's obviously afraid of the Malazans.
I mean, not unrightfully so, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, why wouldn't you be?
We didn't even talk about that they burned all the ships. AJ, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's sure symbolic, I guess.
Yeah.
She made a statement.
Yeah, like we're not going back because we don't belong there anymore. Pretty fucking buck wild to just assume that you can show up on some other shores and be like, yeah, well, this is fine. This'll work.
AJ,
I don't know.
How do you feel about me and you? Like, I come back to Philly, we drive to Illinois to hang out. I blow up the car.
Right.
And I'm like, we're in Illinois now, AJ. That's where we are.
Illinois seems fine. I don't really know much about Illinois outside the Great Lakes and Chicago.
Look, it's no Indiana, but it'll do.
That's right. It's no Indiana.
Say.
Nice. Take them down a peg, Josh. I don't know much about it. I mean, I've passed through both states, but don't. Anyway,
Sure.
Haven't we all?
Let's talk a little bit about some of these soldiers. So they're out in the countryside.
Let's shake things up a bit.
Oh, sorry. Wait, sorry. One last thing about the shake thing. This is another like old society being taken over by a younger person that is like, I am defying these old ways. This is not how we do it anymore. So I'm curious to see how many more of those we get, because we're up to 3 now. 3 at least.
I don't know why she went in so hot though.
Yeah.
She really did just go in and be like, act like, no, we're not doing it like that. You were in power, now you're not, I am. And then she's like, well, I guess I'm gonna need my half brother to watch my back instead. So it's like, yeah,
she's
but you
putting
didn't
a
have to
lot
go
of
in there so hot.
Yeah, she's putting a lot of faith into her half brother that was kicked out of their home at the age of 3.
Yeah.
Really hope that doesn't come back to haunt her.
Yeah.
So the Malazan soldiers are pulling off various missions, and but before we kind of get to some of that, Fiddler is like thinking about everybody, and then we have this scene between Gessler and Stormy. Just Gessler bit of a grieving. Josh, what did you think about
Still sad.
Fiddler, and then what did you think about this little grief scene?
The grief scene was really nice. They don't get a lot of time. Well, I think it was nice, but also like they had a lot of time on that boat. I just don't know if they would have put off all of the grieving until now, but it was still a nice sentimental moment for sure. The Fiddler stuff, I'm always a big fan of everything with him and his whole storyline of trying to start over and realizing that that's just not a thing you can do, especially once you've hit a certain level of notoriety. So I don't think there's much else to say about it, though. I mean, this is just kind of like the precursor to the next 6 scenes.
Yeah, we're checking in with various soldiers, right? Because this follows up. We also have Korab, and he's kind of questioned about, like bottles, like kind of going like, why didn't you go with Leoman? And I kind of really liked that scene, and I think it was kind of nice to have the characters address it in world in a way. I do think it's one of those things, Josh, that I do get how you're like, well, is this really the first time these characters would ever talked about it, But part of me is just like, it's a book, it's like, whatever,
Yeah.
But I don't know. It works for me. Plus, I always love Korab, All right, so, AJ, we come to this pretty radical, little fun scene. We cut to some, as you mentioned earlier, a classic Steve thing, cut to a random no-name dude.
Right. Give them a name and then murder them.
Give them a name,
Classic.
give them a brief story, and then quickly murder them.
He's so good at horses. That's so good for an eater. I loved it.
Yeah, I've just fucking... It works on me every time.
Yeah.
Every single time. It's like, here's a character we've never met before. I'm like, okay. I read the name. I'm like, okay, this person's definitely going to die. And then Steve gives us like 4 pieces of information that's like, they really like horses. They're doing pretty well for themselves. They have a brother. I'm like, okay, sweet, sick. I love this character. I'm instantly connected.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then the way that shit just goes bad, and his brother, Estav, whatever, dies, and he just keeps saying Estav over and over again. Fucking fucked me up, dude. Like, really, really fucking hurt.
Why?
Because his brother just got murdered, and he was just riding a horse. He was doing fine, and then all of a sudden his brother thunked over, and he was like, "Oh, Estav, you okay?" And then shit went really bad, and he kept just trying to find his brother, and then he did find his brother, and he had a fucking crossbow bolt shooting out of his neck. Jesus Christ, India. Why? I build empathy very fast, I guess.
No, that's a good thing.
So, loved that, and also hated it. But
yeah, I love the whole scene, and I think it's well done. It's a classic play, as we talked about. And Inge, this takes us to, it kind of cuts to that Hellion squad was the one who kind of pulled off this whole operation.
It was amazing, but sad.
Then she also lays out her plan to invade. So how did you feel about catching up with Hellion in this book?
I like Hellion. I love Hellion. I think that she's funny and a bad bitch, and as proven by what she did there, which was also a little, it was mean, but all is fair in love and war. And yeah, those are my thoughts.
It is all fair in love and war?
All is unfair in love and the war.
I do love, is Hellion, I can't tell if she's drinking, right?
Yes.
Oh, always.
Okay. Because I couldn't remember if she had crossed. Oh, that's right. Because she has the part here where she's like, "Oh, I have to leave a little bit left just in case I need a quick swig." I just think that it's very funny that this section starts off with managing a straight line. Hellion walked out from the stable, and the fact that Lutz was able to aim their crossbow over Hellion's back while she was vomiting. Just silly stuff.
And her friend who knocked her out came back, right?
Yeah, and that's what she was. Yes, he's there because she was like, "I almost remember what you did to me."
Yeah,
so
that's the one that she loves though. Like, is always like, "I love you." Whenever she gets really drunk,
Yeah.
Forget what his name is.
No,
Herb.
it is Herb.
I think so.
Yeah.
I do think the tavern to tavern thing,
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, it's so fucking fun.
it's just really good.
Yeah,
It's kind of clever.
really good.
I think it's actually so dumb. But I love that she's so convincing while drunk that they're like, it's so dumb it could just work.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It's so crazy, it might just work.
Yeah, well, that's what Herb says, Hellion, I hate to say this, but that's kind of clever.
Yeah.
Really good.
So, Josh, I don't know if you know, Beak's in love.
Yeah. I love Faradin's sword and beak, and his candle thing is absolutely bonkers. And it also,
So
he's
cool.
probably the most powerful mage we've ever seen. Like, it takes all of Quickben and he had to like absorb the souls of 12 other people to do
Right.
his shit. And Beak's over here like, oh, I'm just using my candle head magic, and is just simultaneously starting a fire and putting people completely under an illusion, and just
Right.
is an absolute madman. I love it. He's so good.
But when who taught Beak this again? Like
He got taught some basic stuff by like the stable master, and the stable master then found him someone who was trained more in warrens, and so he trained with someone who knew what warrens were, something like that.
A SETI witch.
A SETI witch, yeah.
Right. And then his family had the stable master killed, and then he said, and then I left home, and somehow my family died.
That was like, yeah, I was
It's
like,
so
oh.
good. I just thought of all the candles, and then I was gone.
Yeah, Faraday's sword was like, did you kill them? Like, I don't know. I was just thinking about candles. Okay.
I just love candles.
I just love candles.
So this brings us to the end of the chapter where Throat Slitter is thinking a bit about assassinations and their power. And I feel like we've covered a lot of this. So, but I do want to just kind of touch in at the end of this and kind of get your thoughts in that these two chapters were really touching in the Malazans are back, and they're back at the part of the story. You know, first half of the book where we got all these stuff. We got a bunch of new plot lines, patriotists, what's going on with Red Mask. We're all over Lether, seeing what's going on with the Empire. But now book 3 is here, really starts, boom. The Malazans are back. The Malazan Book of the Fallen. Here they're all come in, you know. And I wonder what you think how they're going to change the continent, how they're going to change the characters we know here, what their collision in the story is going to be, and how they're going to fare knowing that the Lethari will not be greeting them as liberators.
Who is this to, AJ?
Anyone.
It's not going to be good. Do they have a, like, fallback location?
Josh, they just burned all the ships.
I know they can't leave.
That's kind of the whole thing. Yeah.
Right, but so there's not even, like, a
Who burned their
rendezvous.
ships?
They burned their
They
ships.
did. They burned their own ships.
And who is they?
The Malazans.
The Bone Hunters.
What is the difference
I guess
between
like-
Malazan and Bone Hunter?
Nothing. AJ's
Nothing.
being an AJ.
Okay.
I don't know.
They're
There is
different.
kind of a difference.
For our purposes right now, there's no difference. But yes, there is 100% a difference.
You know, I'm getting a little confused with the number of Malazans here, because when I
Yeah.
started this chapter, I was like, actually when I started the book, so when I started chapter 13, and it started from the Malazan point of view, I was like, what? Or Malazan, if I will.
Okay, I can clear it up, India. So they split into multiple sections. All of the Marines, which are the squads we typically spend time with, they are all in very small 8-person squads, and they are infiltrating the countryside trying to incite an uprising. And that's what the problem is going to be, is they're going to find that the Lether don't want to rise up, you know? Although they'd have more luck if they talked to like the Tarthanol and all those people. They would have a lot of luck with that. And then the other group is at the prison island where Shirkalal is, and they're gonna capture and use that as their base of operations. But then there's a third contingent that has all the parish, and they've gone somewhere else, but we don't know yet where.
The parish?
The iron, the gray shields or gray swords or whatever the fuck their name was.
Okay.
Sword, shields,
And
helms,
who? So the people that are on the island, that's Throat Slitter,
Yes, and
And
Dead
Co.
Smell.
Dead, and then Fiddler.
They're on the Lethari mainland infiltrating.
Got it.
And, yeah.
And they're all a part. Are they all a part of Tavor's group or no?
Yes.
Yes, they're all on the same side. For once in a book, all the Malazans are on the same side.
Yeah.
Okay.
For now.
Like,
AJ.
because it's fine. Like, I understood that they were. Well, at first I didn't, but then I realized that they were Malazan, and then I was like, wait, but they're all not. They're not to get like. There's so many of them, and they're all doing different things, and I have no fucking idea what they're doing. So cool. I feel better now.
We did it. AJ, any?
Wait. All right, guys. Last question.
Okay.
Where is like Karsa and Ikarium?
They're in the capital city of Letheris.
Yeah.
So so they are there, and the Malazan people are like,
We're all
gonna-
on the same. We're all on the same continent.
so this is pretty fucked up.
Yes.
It's pretty fucked up.
It's a little
And they're
fucked
trying
up.
to start a war,
Yeah.
but Ikarium is there, and
Yeah, they don't know that either. Yeah.
do they know who he is?
They probably know of him.
Yeah, that's probably the same deal how everybody else knows who
Fiddler
Ikarium
knows
is.
him.
It's like-
Fiddler hung out with him for a while, so.
Yes. Yeah, Fiddler
Y'all think Mappo's coming back this book? Forgot about him, didn't you? Our
I
good
did.
troll friend.
I didn't, actually. And no, I don't think so, because I think we're spending the whole time on Letheris, and I don't know how he would have gotten off of...
All right, those were my clarifying questions, and to anybody else who had those questions, you're welcome.
You are valid. You are seen.
Nice.
All right.
All right.
We did it.
Sorry. Well, you asked my thoughts on this.
Yeah, I do want to know your thoughts.
Yeah, I really love how Shirk was the one who got to drop the news that the Lethery aren't going to uprise just because.
Sure.
I think it's just funny, because it's Shirk, and I don't know, man. I think it's going to be rough. I think it's going to be bad. It ends with adjunct. You've done it again, which I think is a little, it's a little shady to think about it like that, but really. Rough stuff. I don't know. It's not going to be good. That's really all I wanted to say. This is just not going to be good. And I like that Shirk was the one that was like, nope, you fucked up. You fucked up.
You made a mistake, sir.
Yeah.
Well, listen, everybody, that's going to do it for us here today on the show. Bit of a shorter one, I think.
Nice little bite-sized episode. Yum, yum, yum. Eat them up.
Yum, 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 yum. Delicioso. I just want to go ahead and say also, was this more than an hour?
Hour 15?
Hour 22 of recording, but there includes some breaks and stuff, so it's pretty close.
It'll come out to probably close to an hour 10, hour 15.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for listening, everybody. As always, let us know what you think about the show or any of our questions here today. We're 10 Very Big Books at Gmail and on Twitter. And if anyone you think would like the show, let them know. And 10 Very Big Books on Patreon. Any other thoughts? I don't think so. Thank you so much for listening. When I say come, you say passion. Come.
Passion! Hello, everybody. Producer AJ here on my birthday. Thank you so very much for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you'd like to give us your thoughts or feelings about this or any of our other episodes, you can always email us 10verybigbooks@gmail.com, tweet us at 10verybigbooks, or you can head on over to our Discord, bit.ly/VBB Discord. That's capital V, capital B, capital B, capital D, Discord. That link will also be in the show notes. Thank you to all of our wonderful patrons over on Patreon. If you'd like to financially support the show, you can head on over to patreon.com/10verybigbooks. That link will also be in the show notes. And as always, thank you so very much to my dad and yours, Dan Geserick, for making our spectacular cover art. You can follow him on Twitter at @A_W_Dan_G. And of course, the wonderful music in today's episode, including the remixed intro and outro track, is by the one, the only Amaranthin from their album Simulant Rain, which you can find along with their other music on bandcamp.com. Links to their pages will be in the show notes, and 10 Very Big Books will be back in 2 weeks on December 9th, where we'll be discussing Reaper's Gale, chapters 15 and 16, hosted by one India Jones. We'll talk to you then, and thank you so much for listening. Can we just do a quick little clap for me?
Sure. Yep. Here we go.
Quick little clap for
2, 1.
Thank you very much.
I clap for AJ. I clap for AJ.
Oh, I guess we could have just done one at the end, but oh well. Here's one in the middle.
Clap those cheeks.
Leave that one in, AJ. Leave that one in, I guess.
Clap those cheeks, AJ.
People were asking where the after credits bloopers were, and I guess here they are. This is what you asked for. You're welcome.
Yeah.
To be fair, I only said it because I read it on a post. I'm a Christian.
Hey, what are you searching up? What are you searching up, bud?
I don't know if that makes you look any better, pal.
Yeah. It says it right here. I don't even want to say
7 best ways to clap those cheeks.
I scrolled down on the video and there's all these comments.
You won't believe the way he claps her cheeks.
The video. Shit.
Christ.
Clap your cheeks.